I want to know, do you have a love for Batman? Are you?
Oh,
I do. I really do.
Okay.
And I love the Michael Keaton ones. I mean, not to say that I think Val Kilmer did a good job, and I loved Christian Bale. I mean, who doesn't love those films? I mean,
Yeah.
those are just like to another level.
Yeah.
And Ben Affleck has done a great job too. But I mean, when I was growing up, like it was more of like the Michael Keaton ones, and I mean, those were amazing with Jack Nicholson and then Kim Basinger, everyone else. Like those were impressive.
Yeah.
So did you see The Flash with Keaton
I
coming
have
back?
not. No, I haven't yet. So have you?
Okay.
Did you guys already see it?
I have not, but I was just talking to my nephew about it, and he really liked it.
All right, good. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I mean, because there was, what was it, part of the Justice League ones? There was the Flash was kind of introduced into one of those with
Right.
Wonder Woman and Batman. And I thought they did a good job with that. So it'd be neat to see where this one goes.
We're officially talking to a hot doctor who's also a bit of a nerd.
Yes, exactly. A little bit. So just a little bit.
Welcome, fellow lushes. Come on in, pull up a bar stool, and enjoy some cocktails with Dimples and the Beard.
Oh, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
You calling me fat?
No, talking about fucking the worst week of the year if you live near Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Oh,
it's Hell Week.
How do you like going to work?
It's Hell Week.
Hey, you're obviously back up.
Oh yeah, we're back. It's Hell Week. Anytime I see a license plate that isn't from Wisconsin, I know I'm about to get fucking sideswiped or cut off and if it's a Florida license plate, it's guaranteed that motherfucker cannot drive.
Are they old?
Yeah. There's so much. Okay. The demographic of EAA, every man that goes to EAA has white hair. He's above the age of 57. And he carries a backpack and a fanny pack.
Oh,
and cargo shorts.
Oh, fucking cool.
And cargo shorts. And sandals with fucking knee-high socks. Or not knee-high.
I love it.
I love socks. It. That is what is happening in my work town this week.
And I stay away.
Yeah.
Stay
away. I got a craw in my bonnet. Is that what they say? A craw in my bonnet?
No.
I got what do I have in my bonnet? A bee in my bonnet? Where do I have a craw? Bee. Some people.
There's some of the craw, but I don't believe it's bonnet.
No, I think it's a bee in your bonnet. A bee.
I don't know. Why don't you pull one of those guys over?
A bee in your bonnet.
And ask them.
Hey, you got a craw in your knickers? Because you got me with a craw in my knickers. I can't wait for Hell Week to be over.
Well,
I can't get into town. I can't get out of town. I'm putting my car in.
Does it take longer?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. It's a fucking shit
show. Maybe you had to go live one of those mornings, maybe just like, get out of my way, bitching. And you could be the angry old man.
I tried. I just told people last night on this podcast that's not who I am anymore. It's okay.
So now you just got to pull over and meditate.
Yeah. No. What I have.
Did you meditate this morning when you woke up?
I tried, but for some reason I couldn't. I think it was the mouth. My God. What? Huh? Can we open the bar? You took a drink before the bar was open. Can we open the bar?
I cheated before the tavern was open.
Tavern's open, baby. Welcome back to another episode of Cocktails with Dimples and the Beard. The Beard is Mad edition. No,
Jesus.
Just kidding.
Which is every edition.
No, it's not. I got it off. I got it done. I can't wait for EAA to be over.
Oh, you did get me.
You know, the nice thing about
you forget.
The nice thing about talking about EAA is, although it's local, people all around the country know about EAA.
Huge.
So, and you all come here, and you all can't.
What's the number? What's the number of people it brings?
Drive.
Hundreds of thousands.
Millions. Billions.
Fly in.
Billions.
And that's just day one.
Mm-hmm.
So get on down to the EAA. Fly in. Boat in.
Just don't drive in.
Just
do us all a favor. Fly your plane here and then Uber around town.
I think it's over now, but the last two nights, Saturday night it was canceled, but the supper club plane group lands in Kelly's Creamery outside of Fond du Lac.
I have no idea what any of the words you just said mean.
They land in the field.
Who?
The supper club.
Who are the
Air
Oh my
club. The supper club club.
Okay, go ahead.
Popper. What do they call the little puddle jumpers planes?
Prop planes?
Prop planes.
Puppies? I think they
Do you
call
know
them
Kelly's?
proppies.
Kelly's Dairy ice cream? Outside
No.
wow. Ever been there?
No.
Missing out, son.
Okay. Dad. Anyway, this week we're joined.
They were there Saturday. And they canceled because of weather. But they just come in,
Nobody cares.
land. You can go talk to the pilots. You can go check out the planes. It's pretty cool.
Can you go up in the plane?
Everything has a price, I'd imagine.
Little Mile High Club.
Oh, yeah, especially with them.
Are you in the Mile High Club?
the old dudes? Tried.
Yeah. I've never
It's not as
successfully.
easy as it sounds.
Little rub, but never
There was a flight that we were going to, and it was perfect because it was kind of a dead flight. It was later,
yeah.
and I swear that stewardess just could tell
They're
because
not called flight attendant.
and so we went in the back. We were sitting.
Are you going to call our guest tonight a chiropractress?
And then she happened to come sit right behind us, and we're like, God damn it.
A chiropractress. I'm pretty proud of myself.
You
for
like that one, yeah.
Yeah. I don't give a fuck about your story. Anyway.
So we try, we're gonna, but yeah, she just kept watching us.
Yeah, you were watchable.
Damn it. So before we invite our guest, Vikki Val,
Vale or
Yes.
Val? I don't know.
that one.
Yeah.
The comic book comes alive.
Well, last night it looked like a short A and it was a long A with Kama. And tonight maybe it's a short A that sounds anyway.
Well, we'll go with that
Have I bored you?
until till she can correct us.
We'll call her Vikki Vale.
Vikki Val, Vikki Val.
Okay.
Wow, Vikki Val. Dance.
Okay, go ahead.
But until then, give us a like, subscribe, share, leave a comment.
Call us chiropractresses.
Oh, I hope he's gonna say that all night.
Ah.
He's gonna say that all night. Because she is the Curvy chiropractor.
So without further ado, Dr. Voluptuous herself, the curvy
All
chiropractor,
kinds of
Vikki Vale.
Vikki Val.
Hi.
Oh, look at
Well-
that.
Well, hello.
Hi.
Oh shit. Can we shoot our podcast from your set from now on?
We want to
Sure.
be there. We want to
Yes.
be there.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's what our backdrop should look like. God damn it.
Well, I mean, this isn't bad though. We could just add a few more bottles and some shelves. We
We're
could do
doing
that.
okay. We're doing okay. We talk about it. If you go back and watch like episodes like 5 or not 5. Well, when we first
Whatever,
went
yeah.
video like 20, there's just a little square here with our name on it. And so
Yeah,
it's improved. So
I like it. I love now that you see the logo and everything there on the wall, I like that a lot more. It's hard, on Instagram, it's hard to see
Yeah.
that.
yeah, for sure.
So,
For sure.
And all our bottles are over there on our portable,
Bar
but
cart.
not like that.
yeah, I've got a good display. So I don't have a problem or anything.
Well, we've had another wall that
Yes.
looked a lot like that on an episode, and we were very jealous of that one as well. So
that was all whiskeys. It looks like you've got more of a variety there.
A good variety. And then we designed it ourselves too. So like the whole wall and everything.
nice.
So,
nice.
Okay. So there's a method to where things are.
absolutely. And like the shelving, we picked the colors and did everything else too. And then the shelving is all it's kind of more of an industrial look with like the hardware underneath. And then these are actually like pieces of tin.
Oh.
Like roofing or different pieces that we like interlaid together to make the shelves. So
Nice.
hopefully they're gonna last. We'll see.
Is
Nothing's
this
collapsed yet.
Is it a new addition? Is the bar relatively new?
Yeah, well, I had a flood in our basement
Oh.
2 years ago, so then we redid everything. So this is about a year and a half old from being
Nice.
finished. So so we redid a few things and revamped stuff. So I guess it was worth it in the end.
Do you spend a lot of time in it?
You know what? I try to. In the winter, I spend a lot more time down here. So
Sure.
in the summertime, being that we're in New England, I try to be outside as much as possible.
Yeah, we're we're Wisconsin, so we understand when you only get like three good months of
Yeah,
outdoor weather, you try and take advantage of it as much as you can.
absolutely. And with El Nino this year, we're getting rocked here. I don't know if you guys are, but all we've done is just get rain. Like
Oh no, we've been
day.
dry as shit all
We've
summer.
been the opposite.
Well, I'll give you some of ours. I can send it that way.
Yeah.
So,
It's been a terrible dry summer here. So
Bring it.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
yeah.
And
ours
let's
is-
hope that it doesn't flood again.
Yes, I know. Well, I've done a lot of preparation to make sure that doesn't happen, but I still think I have PTSD at night. If it's raining, like I'll wake up, like raining really hard. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I'm just gonna go down and check the basement, just make sure everything's okay. So it was that bad. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Go check the basement again.
Right.
Mhm.
Go.
I know. So yeah, it's for my tremors, So
I don't even hear any rain. That's all right. I'm still gonna go check the basement.
I know. I just gotta check the basement really quick. Just make sure everything's good, So that's a good idea, actually. So
You're
So I-
welcome.
So I
You're
gotta
welcome.
say thank you for the suggestion because I don't think we've ever had a Paloma.
I
Really?
don't think I have either.
So
Wow.
it's
Well,
delicious.
cheers.
So
I
cheers.
made one too. I just
Cheers.
wasn't sure like if I was supposed to or not. I'm like, well, I'll make one if we're doing it.
Oh, we always encourage the drinking, but we certainly have we've had guests who don't drink at all, or
Right.
they've got stuff going on, so they don't have a drink. But we always encourage. I mean, loosens
Right.
everybody up a little bit, So
I agree. And I've been trying to be pretty good during the week, just trying to still shed a few of those unwanted COVID pounds. And during COVID, it was like, oh, well, I'll just have a couple drinks every night because it's COVID and what else are you going to do?
yeah,
I think
And then every night it was like, well, maybe just be one drink. And I'm like, well, maybe it's 2 or maybe it's 3 drinks a night. And I'm like, all right, I got to stop this. So
sadly, I'm still gaining COVID weight. Is COVID over?
no, I don't think it's over. So I think you're free to say that you're still gaining COVID.
I'm still on the upslope.
I think the trauma of it will continue for a while longer. So I think you have a little bit long. I think you have at least another year to use it as an excuse.
Oh, absolutely.
I appreciate
then-
it. And I gotta say, that's coming from a doctor.
Yeah.
So
It is. So this is, oh gosh, I have to be careful. Who's listening in? They'll be like, well, she said I could have 2 or 3 drinks a night for another year.
let's just put the
Every
disclaimer out.
night.
The views
Right.
here expressed are humorous, not
Yes, exactly.
we are not here to educate. So thank you for joining us, Vikki. Is it Vale or Val?
Vale.
Okay. So
Like the, yeah.
so are you named after, is it the name taken from Vikki Val, the Batman from Batman?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So that's
Absolutely. So
intentional.
yes, very intentional. I had to be, well, my first name is Victoria, but I had to shorten that. And then I've tried to be careful at keeping this very separate from my actual practice. And it's hard as my client, as my content starts to grow or gain more followers, it'll be inevitable at some point. But starting out, I was just like, I've got to try to figure out some way to keep this a little, I'm trying to keep it as separate as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went with Vikki, and well, I guess I can say this on here. When I was growing up, people would call me Tori for short. I was never really a Vikki, and so, but all my friends who loved me dearly and loved to pick on me, they would call me Vikki. And then all my old patients in my office, like all the old guys and all the old girls, they all call me Vikki. So, and then my best friend calls me Vikki, and I call her Mandy. It's kind of like our going out alias names. So, so it kind of just stuck that I could. And I was named after my godmother, whose name is Victoria, but she goes by Vikki. So I figured I can float in the realm of all of these things, I think.
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right. And then we go with the Curvy chiropractor.
Well, I want to know, do you have a love for Batman? Are you?
Oh,
I do. I really do.
Okay.
And I love the Michael Keaton ones. I mean, not to say that I think Val Kilmer did a good job, and I loved Christian Bale. I mean, who doesn't love those films? I mean,
Yeah.
those are just like to another level.
Yeah.
But and Ben Affleck has done a great job too. But I mean, when I was growing up, like it was more of like the Michael Keaton ones, and I mean those were amazing with Jack Nicholson and then
Yeah.
Kim Basinger, everyone else. Like those were impressive.
Yeah.
So did you see The Flash with Keaton
I
coming
have
back?
not. No, I haven't yet. So have you?
Okay.
Did you guys already see it?
I have not, but I was just talking to my nephew about it, and he really liked it.
All right, good. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I mean, because there was, what was it, part of the Justice League ones? There was the Flash was kind of introduced into one of those with
Right.
Batman. And I thought they did a good job with that. So it'd be neat to see where this one goes. But I've heard good things. I just haven't had a chance to get there.
So it sounds like, are you in superheroes all of it, or just Batman?
I think no. I mean, I like Superman, honestly, and who doesn't love Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot? I mean, I mean, come on. So,
It is, but I did grow up with Linda Carter, so I do have
I know
a
lot
spot
of
for
people,
her.
I understand, and a lot of people say that. It was neat that she had a little cameo in it too, or the
Right.
last one. So that was pretty special. So,
Yeah.
but I think she did a good job coming back to like
Yeah.
take her place or do these movies.
Yeah.
No, she
I
did.
think the first one is definitely better than the second one. So I don't know.
Yeah, the second one was a little rough. The second one was a
Yeah.
little rough. The first one was really good.
I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, I would go see it, and it wasn't by any means the worst movie I've ever seen, but
No.
it was not as good as the first one.
No.
So
And
I hope they'll revive themselves.
I mean, Linda Carter got me through grade school. I did have a poster of her on my wall. Just gonna leave it there.
Right
I
next to
think
Pat Benatar?
a lot of people I talked to said that they did.
Oh yeah, that
So
costume. Come on.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was just
Not
a
at all.
healthy young boy.
So
Very healthy. Yes. Good
so
choice.
we're officially talking to a hot doctor who's also a bit of a nerd.
Yes,
love
exactly. A
it.
little bit. So just a little bit.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
That's a great combination.
It is. I say nerd with love because
No,
that's
I'm happy.
I finally gave up on the superhero movies. I just couldn't. There's so many. They were coming out so fast and furious, and I just couldn't keep up anymore. So I finally gave up on them. But obviously, what they're doing is working. So
Yes. Well, I mean, I feel like the last couple of years they're starting. Some of them are good, and then some of them are just kind of going downhill. So I'm hoping that they'll be able to fix whatever they're doing. And I was so upset. I will tell you, I was so upset when Henry Cavill, they announced that he is not going to be Superman
Oh,
in the next one.
that is sad because he was awesome.
Yeah. So he was amazing. And I mean, you couldn't why am I drawing a blank? Oh, Christopher Reeves. Like you couldn't pick another person to look or almost be as much like Christopher Reeves in terms of like size, like the dark hair, like just very handsome. Like I don't know what happened there, but I think someone messed up or made a big mistake not keeping him.
I agree because he was great. I really enjoyed out of all of them. Christopher Reeves was obviously childhood memories of that Superman, but
poster right next to Wonder Woman.
He didn't make the wall, but
well, that's good. I mean, hey, it's okay nowadays if he did.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
nothing
wrong with that. I mean,
no,
explore a little bit,
you
but
could have him like on a
ceiling.
Hey,
ceiling.
Here's what I'm gonna tell you. My bedroom was in the attic, and so my ceiling was like this.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, so you got the cool bedroom
Yeah.
that could have all the posters on each side of the ceiling.
You got it. Yep.
That's pretty sweet. So
Yep, there was. So I got tons.
I like it.
He's probably in the closet doors you open up to like get your clothes out for the day. Or maybe on a t-shirt. Maybe it was on a t-shirt or something that you wore. Or
just for inspiration for the day.
Yeah. Or a folder. Maybe your folder at school had like him on it. But I would probably agree with you. If I were you, probably wouldn't be on my ceiling to look up at night.
No. They all tucked me in at night.
Yes. Linda did.
Linda did. And Margaret.
And Margaret. Mae West
was up. Mae West was not up there. Cheryl Teagues, Farrah Fawcett. Those were on my wall.
Yeah. Hey, good choices. All right. Well, we can talk for the next however many minutes. I approve. So this is kind of your interview to make sure that we could continue. So
yeah.
No, it's just nice when you break the ice a little bit and you find out that, oh, okay, you got that too. We can talk about this as well. I like it. So,
Exactly.
because we did not know, we were kind of coming in and it was like, how do you pronounce that? Is it, and then if it is Vale, is that so?
Yeah,
That's fun.
absolutely.
That's fun.
Well, as long as we're talking about her,
Vikki Vale?
well, yeah, Vikki Val and the character.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously with your OnlyFans.
Yes.
Do you ever get any requests to dress up as Vikki Val?
I haven't yet. But I don't think a lot of people have caught on. I mean, some people on Instagram that seem to be a little bit more with it or are up to date. I don't know.
A little more hip.
I'm trying to be nice here. So
they're looking at your Instagram page for more than one reason. OnlyFans,
yes,
probably. They're a little more
exactly.
focused on.
Not really so much for like brains, I'm sure. So,
yeah.
But like some people have definitely like caught on to it, but I haven't had any requests. But that's a really good idea. So
you might want to offer it.
You can do a little Vikki Vale cosplay.
Like it's like a reporter suit, more professional looking, but
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So then you take the glasses off, the hair comes down.
Yeah, I could definitely do. That's a very good idea. So I could that could be for like the true or the ultimate Vikki Vale experience.
Oh,
or something. I don't know how far we'll go with it, but the dress up part. So
what does it entail? I'm going to ask you questions.
yes. Maybe it'd be like a Q&A. No.
So how did the Instagram and all start around the same time?
Yes, it did. I believe I think I had the Instagram name and account for a few months before. And when I started, I didn't really actually like end up doing anything with it. It was kind of it was a drunken dare. I'm not gonna lie.
I love it.
As many things are. And I was really busy with the practice that I was in before. And it was just something like I'd kind of wanted to get into modeling, and everybody always said that I should be, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, and
right.
blah blah blah, and like everybody talks and whatever. And then as like things are changing. I mean, there are some positive changes in the world today. I mean, like there are all types of models now. Like I was always under the impression that you had to be 5'10", 5'11", 100 and 5 or 110
sure.
pounds. And I mean,
and 19 years old, but
yes, exactly. And
not
now,
anymore.
I know. And now actually I've even heard, and I didn't know this honestly until just recently, that there is a huge category for like women in their like late 30s, kind of like late 30s to about 50.
Yep.
In terms of like, they're really wanting those people for modeling now. So I don't know. I'm like, well, I was thinking like I could give it a go or try. So I figured, just to kind of keep myself separate from my practice in like where I live in the area and stuff, I'm like, I had to come up with like a ridiculous name. So I mean, people don't think that this is really ridiculous, but I think it's kind of a ridiculous name. So
it's very clever.
And like I wanted to be something catchy. I mean, I don't know. My goal would be to get into like a little bit bigger modeling, for higher end brands. Fashion, whether it's clothing, swimsuit, lingerie, any of that is fine. But I hope I didn't kind of hinder myself with like the name, because a lot of models that are getting bigger and growing on social media, they have their regular names, but I also don't think they're also working as a professional too, where they're trying to be careful. So I don't know. So I figured, if someone wasn't going to accept me or like take me on because of what my Instagram handle name is, then like screw them. Like why bother with them anyway?
Right.
Yeah.
But I would think if you got enough accounts or enough modeling gigs, you might use your real name and say the heck of your job. So then you could.
Exactly. And I have like on a few of my photographs, I started like doing like a signature or whatever with like, even just using like Vikki Val or whatever, or Victoria Vale or whatever it is. and just and like that has a nice ring to it as well. And it's not like my name isn't under there too. It's just my handle name that's supposed to draw attention.
Right,
And anyone that's trying to get into modeling these days is usually doing some type, it all starts on social media now, and then almost all of them, like literally almost everyone, I don't mean to sound like cliche or like, oh, everyone's doing it, but everyone is doing OnlyFans as well to some level or extent for their modeling. Like, I mean, some women are doing much, much, much more extreme things. But like everybody's using that because it is, I mean, it's one of the fastest growing business models in the world. And, people utilize that to make extra or additional income while they're trying to grow their fan base or their social media status, and then go further into modeling or whatever it is.
Yeah, for sure.
We've had quite a few OnlyFans on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
over the years,
I never thought I would be on that either. I really didn't. This is the last thing on earth that I think that I would be doing, but it hasn't been that bad. So,
but it didn't start, I'm going to do both, did it? The drunkenness?
No, it didn't. It just started like, it just started more with Instagram.
And a little more bikini pictures and.
Yeah. And even then with the Instagram, it didn't even really start off with like bikini pictures and, lingerie and everything. But then if you look at what everybody posts, it's all like swimsuit modeling, it's all like lingerie or, sexier fashion clothing. Right. Like you said, like that Vikki Val look with, maybe it's a blazer on with like a bustier or something underneath, all of that like that. And that is, I mean, regardless of who you are and what you do, like that is what sells. And that's what attracts attention. I mean, I can do my other reels. Oh, hey guys, I'm working out today. And like, that'll get like 200 likes. And then if I take one getting out of the swimsuit or out of the pool, like that's got 800 or something. So like, it is what it is. So, and there's nothing wrong with that, but
no, absolutely not. No, as you'll see, as you go on, I'm assuming you've had all but positive reactions to everything.
Yeah, I mean, mostly, there are some, there's always going to be trolls on there though.
Right.
And like, I haven't had anything like not positive. I think people that go on OnlyFans are a little, maybe like a little bit more easygoing or maybe a little bit more relaxed because, well, they're actually going on to OnlyFans to find, all of these people. So, who are they to judge? But on Instagram, people are still pretty judgy. I try to keep track of my comments because they said to grow your followers, and in social media, then you have to be engaging, with your followers. So I check the comments still. Where I'm not like that big yet, I can still manage to go through them like at least once a day and like respond and say thank you or little hearts. And, I appreciate your support, which I do. I appreciate, all the support that I'm getting on there, but there's always some of them on there. Like, I will share, I love where I live. I love the United States of America, and I share all types of things on my page, and I'll share if I'm doing like donations or fundraisers to like the Wounded Warrior Project or things like that. And then, or if it's Memorial Day, I did a post. I have a lot of my family was in the military previously. And then there will be people on there like, oh, I had like a flag onesie jumpsuit from Lions Not Sheep because I do like influencing for them as well. Sure. And then like people on there like, oh, take off that flag, like you're a disgrace. And I'm like, oh my God, I was just saying like happy Memorial Day and thank you to our like the people that had served, our veterans or our soldiers that had served. Like that's literally what I said. I wasn't being political. I was very neutral, and like that's where you have people commenting. I was like, well, just delete and block you.
There you go. It's your page.
You can some of them I leave them up just because I'm not afraid of that. But like it just seems like it's so stupid. Why people would like comment. Like I don't comment on. Trust me. I drive down the road and I'd love to like comment or say things to people all the time, and I don't do it. So
right. Yeah, it's
But
amazing the things people will say out there that they would never say to your face.
Right.
And
yeah, exactly. So I was just like, and I don't think there was anything wrong with recognizing a holiday. I mean, it's just, I recognize Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all of them. Like, and I just happened to like Memorial Day. I love July 4th, and like,
As you should, as I love them too.
there's nothing
I'm very
wrong.
thankful for all our soldiers and
Yes,
veterans for sure.
because and they're why we can do what we're doing right here and right now.
he wears a United States flag Speedo on July 4th.
Excellent. Oh, do you share that? That's loud and proud.
It seems like every time we do Instagram bans that and they take it down. I don't know why, but
why? They leave up. It's not like if your member's not like hanging out like in your cupboard, like what's the big deal?
I don't know. I mean, I'm like, you can hardly. No, never mind. I
was gonna say something else too, but I'm like,
I look like Ken. Okay, what can I say?
Yes.
Ken from the new Barbie movie.
Oh, Are you guys gonna go see that?
I already did.
You did? I want to go see it. I really do.
Well, I have a young daughter, and I did not realize it was PG-13.
Yeah,
And she's not 13.
Dad of the year, right there.
It was most of the stuff that went over her head, so it's fine. But it was a little bit of a shock. I thought I was going to a PG movie, and all of a sudden there's some content that I'm like, okay.
Well, and even PG-13 now is not a PG-13.
Yeah,
right.
It's not.
They're always really pushing it,
right? But this is not at all. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like it's fine. There's a few sexual references, but like I said, at her age, they went over her head. She didn't really get it. Right. So
it does seem like a lot of older crowd is going to it.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to go. I mean, I was at my neighbor's a couple of weeks ago having cocktails, and my neighbor on one side of me, she's a powerhouse, but she's 70. And then she had a friend of hers who happened to be in the military and some other things, and then wanted to introduce all of us to. So we went over, and I think he's a dad. He has a daughter who's probably like 13, 14. And I don't know, he's probably got to be late 40s or 50. And both of them by the end are like, do you want to go see Barbie? Like, we want to go see Barbie. And I'm like, I felt like I was talking to a bunch of like 13-year-old girls. I'm like, I would love to go. So I'm like, we should all go. So
have a few drinks and go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I fully admit it was a better movie than I expected, because I thought I was going to a PG kind of kid movie. And then once so I'm like, oh, it'll be a good time to nap. But then, it was actually good. It could have been a little shorter. They could have cut some of the fat out of it. It gets a little long, but other than that, it was a good movie.
Well, Will Ferrell's pretty funny. And then Margot Robbie, I don't know what she's doing, but she seems to be cleaning house in Hollywood. Like, she's like into everything. And she also helped, I didn't realize this, but she produced it. I don't know. I think her husband and she both have a production company or something, or they do produce movies. So she also produced part of it or all of it. I don't know. Yeah. So
I did notice her name was up there as one of the executive producers. So
I thought for a second, I scrolled back when I was watching the trailer, because I saw it and I'm like, oh, they met her or when they were doing an interview or something. I'm not sure, whatever it was. And I'm like, oh, they met like actress or actor. And then I was like, no, she actually produced it too. So I had to do a double take.
Yeah, but good for her.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's amazing.
I do love her stuff. I most of the movies that she's in. She's one of those that I'll go see just because of her.
Yeah, I know, absolutely.
She's good.
I mean, she can play like, I loved her in Tarzan. She was great. Did you see that movie? It was however many years ago. You haven't seen that?
I haven't seen it yet. I have it. I just haven't watched it yet.
Oh, it was actually pretty good. So, I liked it actually. I didn't think I would, but I really did like that movie. So she was very good in that. And then and
I like the guy that plays Tarzan.
He's really he did a great job. I don't think they could have picked
True Blood.
Which one?
The bad vampire Alex, right? Isn't his name Alex Skarsgård?
Oh, he's a Skarsgård, yeah.
Yes, I think he was great.
Looks pretty good in a loincloth.
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he'd be good enough for your ceiling in the attic, but
He would be.
I think he could give Christopher Reeves a run for his money.
Well, with a loincloth, I'm thinking he can.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
That one you might want to hide in your closet. So, but that actually might be a little weird too if someone found that in there. So it might be best just to put it on the wall.
But
I think a poster of Tarzan in your closet would be the most normal thing somebody might find in your bedroom. So
that's kind of scary. So what's in your closet?
yeah. Holy, that can be an episode. Let's go see
Yeah,
what's
that
in
should
our
be.
closet.
Oh, that would be a great episode.
let's take a tour of the closet.
See
Yeah.
what's in your closet. There you
Well,
go.
you could do that with. You could go through and redo that with all of the people that you've had on as your shows. You could do another. I mean, if you ever are running out of material or things to talk about, or do. So you're like, what's in your closet?
You can have a shrine to our guests.
Yes, absolutely.
And then they'll all
They have to,
say,
like, and then at the end of the show, they have to donate one thing to you out of their closet. So
Yes. I like
there
it.
you go.
blood's optional. I mean, that's
Yeah, exactly. So.
just saying. That took a turn, but that's all right.
No. Well, especially if it's like O negative. So you want the rare stuff. So, stuff that's hard to get.
Sell that on the black market.
Well, along with everything else.
Good stuff.
So let's go back. You're still a practicing chiropractor, correct?
I am.
Okay.
I keep a small private cash practice right now.
Okay.
I was in a pretty large practice for about for almost 12 years.
Oh.
And I worked with another chiropractor. There was also another chiropractor that joined that practice too. I was not partnered in. I was asked like several times to join and partner, but I just knew at the end of the day, it was not a good fit for me. It was more of a means to an end, really. And I wanted to practice my way, and I was very receptive and like willing to listen to what the chiropractor that owned the facility had to offer. And in many ways he did mentor me when I was younger, and like taught me a lot about business, taught me a lot of things that I'm really grateful for and appreciate, but then also a lot of things that I would absolutely never do is a chiropractor in my practice as well. So
Okay.
and I was like very good, we'd have our weekly meetings and I'd be very good at being like, yeah, sure. And then I just go back to doing what I want to do. So, but after so many years, like that gets old too after a while. But I was training a lot during earlier in my chiropractic years. I ran marathons, I did Ironmans and a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah, so it allowed me, if I had my own practice and was running fully my own practice at that level, I don't think I would have been able to do those things. And I still wanted to like do those things. And that also helped build my practice too. I was doing a lot of CrossFit too. So I had a lot of triathletes. I had a lot of CrossFit athletes, for all levels, like, professional to, just entry and trying to get started and, doing your first 5K. So, but if I had to run my own practice, I think I wouldn't have been able to do that. And then I did that stint from like 2000 probably since I started at that practice, which was in 2007, and then left there in the end of 2018, beginning of 2019. So,
and then open up your own little one.
Yeah.
Right away.
Absolutely. Well, I took a few months. Actually, I was going to take some time off, but then everyone was trying to get in, and then I have this like whole group of patients that I would see that, especially in the Boston area, that are training for the Boston Marathon. So when I left in December, they're like, "But this is our 4 month. Like we trained December to April for this marathon." They're like, "We can't not get treated." So I ended up taking on patients, like, even though I go, well, I'm not really ready, but I'm like, if you guys are cool with coming in and it is what it is, and
we're
like,
we're going to be in my garage and you're going to be on a piece of plywood, but
we'll
do it.
We'll get it done.
Come into my closet and I'll work on you guys.
Exactly. With all of my like shrines of things collected of Tarzan in his loincloths and Linda Carter. So. Perfect. It was really nice. It was a great. Maybe that's how I got into OnlyFans and other things. Into my closet.
It all's making sense now.
Mhm.
So have you run the Boston Marathon?
I have. I
Yeah.
did.
Wow.
I did that. That was actually one of my first marathons. I had no idea what I was doing. I actually did run it for a charity. A friend of mine or kind of an acquaintance through like some business things, he was running the marathon. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, I really want to run Boston. And he's like, well, let me see if I can get you a number. Cause it was kind of last minute and all the applications were in. And then he knew some people who knew some people.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was away at the time. I was in Mobile, Alabama, visiting a gentleman that I had been dating who was in the Coast Guard. And then I get a call from him saying, I got you into the marathon. Like this is on February 2nd. And then the race is like April 20th.
Yeah.
So he's like, you have to raise at least at the time for like the charitable donations for Dana-Farber, like you had to raise a minimum of 3,700, but they really wanted you to raise between 7 and 10,000. So he's like, I just told them, I just put you in that you were going to try to raise or they wanted you to raise 3,500 as a minimum. He's like, I just said you were going to try and raise between 5 and 7. He's like, I just needed to get you in, but he's like, but don't worry, as long as you raise over 3,500, you're fine. And so I had like a little over 2 months to train for a marathon
And get donations.
Yeah, and get donations. So I think I raised just under 5,000. I think it was like 4,700. And the reason why I wanted to run is a relative of mine, he was dying of lung cancer, and not because he smoked or anything like that, but he was a higher up executive in an energy company, but he also had a band, and then they played in all types of restaurants, bars, and this was back when smoking was allowed in restaurants and bars and everything. And so he ended up developing lung cancer from secondhand. And he and his family friend Harry, so his name was Chuck, and his family friend Harry, they were like my two biggest supporters in chiropractic college. Like when I was going to school, and they would always like call me and check in or like send me stuff, and I just felt so bad. And they did everything they could, and he was such a young, an active, healthy, fairly young guy too. So I ran it in honor of him.
Nice, very nice of you.
Yeah, so I ran that, and then I made it through, so with barely any training. So,
I was going to say, how do you cram training for that? Because how long is that?
I was in shape. I mean, I had been going to the gym, and I had been running. Like that was primarily back then. I mean, like 2000, is it 2008? Maybe. Like back then I was primarily running, and then I would go to the gym and, lift weights and get on the, treadmill there, the elliptical stair climber and stuff like that. So I had like a decent base because I had done some smaller races. So I jumped in with a training team that I treated a lot of the athletes from, and then they kind of helped me along, and it was not easy. So it's in the middle of the winter here training, and I'm like, why do these people do this? And but then it led to then doing bigger things after that. But I did run Boston, and it was a great race. I mean, it was amazing. Yeah. So I definitely stopped on Heartbreak Hill and had a shot of beer. Because why not? So,
right.
It's like everybody's drinking along that and like screaming and yelling, and they all want you to like, run over to the side and give them hugs and kisses and all that stuff. It's a pretty crazy time because as you get closer into the city, then you get all the college kids and everyone's off.
Yeah, and then it's a fun race to be at. My dad has run it twice, so I was out there for it 2 different times. Yeah, and it's fun.
God bless them. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then there's usually a Red Sox game going on too. Yeah. So then people are really belligerent and drunk, and then having a really good time. And then they filter in over from that or go back and forth. So like it's a lot of fun as you get into the city. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Were you born and raised in Boston?
No, I was born in upstate New York in a town called Interlaken, which is in the middle of the Finger Lakes.
Okay. So, I've heard of that. Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful area out there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. And so it's not far, it's not that far from Ithaca. So,
okay. So how long have you been in the Boston area?
So I moved here. So my dad moved here when I was young. My parents had divorced, and when I was 5, but I think he moved here when I was 8. And I would come visit him. And then after I graduated chiropractic college, I ended up moving here. It was very random. I wasn't sure if I was going to where I was going to practice. My top choices were either Florida or North Carolina. And then you have to pass a special boards certification to get into, well, not as, you don't have to pass a special board certification to get into North Carolina. You have to get a certain score, or otherwise they won't let you into practice. And then in Florida, I think they had changed it by the time I had started. They had their own, there are 4 parts to the chiropractic boards that you had to take. And they had one extra part or their own part that you had to take to get into Florida. Because I think Florida at the time, like there was a lot going on with chiropractic, but there was a lot of insurance scamming and stuff. Like you could just bill for everything and make at one point like so much money is a chiropractor, because you could just like bill out for all this crap. Like you could be like, oh yeah, I did this with this patient, I did this, this, and this, and then just send it in, and you could get like a really good return. So they became a little bit more strict because so many people were wanting to get into Florida back then to try to practice.
Sure.
So
Sure.
yeah.
I want to scam people.
I know. And then it wasn't really like, it's not like, yeah, I mean, it was more like scamming the insurance companies, but now they scam us. So what's the difference?
Right. Yeah, it all ends up back coming out of our pocket.
So I don't really feel bad for like anyone who did try to like get ahead or like take advantage of it back then. I'm like, oh, I really don't feel bad now. They're smart because like we're all just getting screwed anyway. So,
Exactly.
so that's why I only take cash now. I will never ever do insurance again, ever.
Oh,
So,
nice. Nice.
Well, as long as it's working, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's harder. It's definitely harder. Like you have to have a following and like, you know,
right.
loyal and that believe in what you do and see the results. But where insurances are becoming more difficult now, it's harder to get coverage. Like you don't have the same coverage that you used to. So a lot of times people will still choose to pay cash anyway, because then they would have to pay so much on a deductible before it would even start being covered.
Right.
So then it ends up still in the long run and being cheaper just to pay cash than to try to pay what they're going to force them to pay to chew away at their deductible before they can hit it by the end of the year.
That's crazy.
When I was seeing mine and it's on and off, it was always through your insurance, it was one price and cash was another price.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Same.
Yep. So I always did the cash.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, and some people, and honestly, like there's ways, you know, cash is not a bad thing too, because then it keeps with cash patients, you can really keep your records. You want to keep them neat and clean, what you write down and like record and stuff. But, you know, it's not floating around for all of the government and insurance agencies to see and take advantage of, you know. So you know, it's nice, like you can just everything's like just, it's easier, it's cleaner, it's neater with cash if you can do it. So those are things you like learn as you get going, because I always thought insurance would be the best because like you have insurance, why not use it? And then we started finding out that like you have all of this insurance that you're paying for, and then there's all these limitations and you can barely use it anyway. So like, why are we paying for this?
Yeah. It's not getting any better. Anyways.
No, it's really, it is not. So that would be a different episode though.
Right. So we know you love working out.
Yes.
You love exercising, working out, running, cocktails.
Yes. Very
modeling.
much so. Yes.
What else you got on there? I see
travel,
horses, traveling.
Yes. Well,
all the above.
Yeah, you know, all the above. I used to, I grew up showing horses.
Oh, okay.
So as well in upstate New York, my mom had a small horse farm, and I moved to Massachusetts, and everyone was like, oh my God, you must be loaded. Like, cause we had like 10 acres of land and like 6 or 7 horses. And to have that in Massachusetts, it would cost millions of dollars.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I'm like, we have no money. Like, our animals eat better than we do. Like, my mom cares about the animals more than she cares about us. So I'm like, it's not like that where we are in upstate New York. But I showed pretty competitively, and I went to Ithaca College for my undergrad, and I actually helped start a horse club there for showing. And then but I didn't after it got up and running, I didn't end up going through with it because I found out that they sedate the animals during the shows when you go to these certain barns to like show, because like not everybody has their own horses, so you ride horses that are provided to you, and they'll put they drug them, and then we'll put the intermediate, or they'll put the advanced riders on first, because being that they're advanced, they get to go first and get done for the day. So then you have these intermediate and then novice riders on horses that are coming off of drugs by the end of the day. It's not a good mix.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus.
Yeah. So they do this at a collegiate level. They do sedate them to some level or degree. I mean, I'm hoping maybe it's gotten better with all like PETA being so, into everything now.
Yeah,
but
we can hope.
I know, but so after that, my mom and it was expensive to do it, like to get it up and running and start. And my mom was going to like, she didn't really have a lot of money, but she was going to help pay for like half of it. Like she would pay for one semester if I could come up with the money working to pay for the other semester. And then when she found out they were doing that, she's like, I'm not paying for anything. She's like, I won't support that. I'm like, well, I can't support that because I can't pay for it both semesters. So because I was also rowing, I rowed crew at the college too. That's one of the reasons why I went there. So I rowed on the crew team there for a couple of years until I changed my major. But
Okay.
But anyway, with the horses,
Do you own some currently?
What's that?
Do you own horses currently, or
No, I don't.
ride?
When I came to Massachusetts, I tried to I leased for a very short period of time. I leased a horse from one of my patients. And I treated the mom and the daughter was away at school. So I was leasing him and then trying to ride like a few times a week. But with my work, like, I mean, I was practicing like so many hours. And then I was also trying to train for like the marathons and stuff, and then started training for Ironman. I couldn't do it all. So I had to stop. So, but maybe someday I would like to have one, even if it's just as a pet. So I already said when I retired, I'd go work at a horse barn. And
there you go. Perfect.
But so maybe I'll just do that. So but yeah, so I grew up with that all my life, and then traveling. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's why ever since I was little, why I wanted to be successful or have a good job, just so I could support my travel habits.
Okay, so it is all pleasure, not work related or anything.
No, I mean, some of it's starting to be more work. Like I'm supposed to be I might be in Miami sometime in August for a photo shoot, like a swimwear photo shoot.
Nice.
And then I'll probably be back to Miami as well to do another photo shoot with a different photographer. He's out of DC and he wanted to do a shoot in Miami, and then also with like one of my friends down there, because we just needed bodies. And my one of my good friends said that she would volunteer, like just for some of the stuff that we wanted to do. So
wow. Okay.
Now, when you say just needed bodies, not just needed, but
and that's not an OnlyFans. That's not an OnlyFans way either. So that sounds so bad. So,
and they have to be alive. They have to be living bodies, right? Right.
It can't be a body that looks like this body.
You don't.
You're like,
I mean, we're available.
Bodies, we could do it. So
we're available
in Miami. So.
I will. Yes, I will do it. I'll sign up.
Good deal. Well, I'm glad. So.
I mean, has the male modeling gone a little more all inclusive, or inclusivity like the female modeling? Are we seeing some normal dudes?
Yeah, seeing some, like, what do you mean? Like, what kind of dudes? Like
dad bods,
like this, like
dad
bod instead of all rocked up abs and.
Yeah, no, I have well, it's kind of funny. Like I have a lot of people on Instagram will send me pictures, and they'll be like, so they're like, what do you think on, like, in the DMs? And I'm like, wow. And I'm like, because I would probably never generally send any of those types of pictures or anything on Instagram. And even if it's in a DM, and I guess in the direct messages, I guess if you send a photo, you can send it, so then it just, after you click on it, it just goes away. But where does it really go? And I don't know. So
I always told my daughters, they tell you it goes away, but it never goes away. So just be careful.
Yeah, it's in the cloud. There's that movie like Sex Tape with Cameron Diaz. Yeah. And he's like, it's in the cloud. And he's like, what do you mean the cloud? He's like, I don't know. She's like, we'll get it back down from the cloud. He's like, you can't once it's up in the cloud.
That's an underrated movie. That's a good
Yeah.
movie, and that was like right when the whole cloud thing started. When
Yes, I love that movie. Was super funny.
Yeah.
Really, really, really funny.
Yeah.
I highly recommend watching it, but maybe not with your 13-year-old.
No,
I guess.
no. And that might be like, is that Cameron Diaz's last movie?
Until she's coming back.
Is she coming back?
She was in the movie.
Back?
Yeah, she's in the movie that Jamie Foxx talked her into coming back. That he went into the hospital for. So it's
God, I know.
delay right now.
No.
But yeah, he talked her into coming back for this role.
Nice.
Oh, I'm so glad. I really like Jamie Foxx. I hope he's going to be okay. And I think he's got a lot more issues than they're saying he does.
Sure.
So I hope that's not true. I really hope that's not true. I really like him. So
Right.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah, we hope him the best for sure.
Absolutely. So what was I? Oh, so I'll get on the DMs, I'll get pictures, like a lot of very interesting pictures, like lots of sometimes fairly non-clothed pictures.
Okay. Nice way to put it.
I think you're saying you're getting a lot of dick pics.
Yeah, but fully naked, not just like the picture.
Oh boy,
these are confident men.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. So they're like, well, what do you think? Like, honestly, on of a scale of like 0 to or 1 to 10, like, what would you rate me as? And like, do you think I could be like OnlyFans material? I'm like, well, and I'm like, it's hard because your 0 to 10 is different than my 0 to 10. So I hate using numbers like that, and I don't want to ever make anyone feel bad. And now, like, with seeing all of these things on social media, like, you can be any really, like, and sometimes I feel like it can be a little too much, but like, you can really be any shape, size, and there's modeling like niches for everything and like everyone now. But I'll say, I'm like, well, if you're willing to send me a fully naked picture of yourself and you don't even know me and then ask for my opinion, I'm like, I would probably say that you could very easily be OnlyFans material.
It's a nice way to put it.
Right.
But if you feel like that, like, okay, or like confident or secure enough, I'm like, that's amazing. And I'm like, that's great. So I'm like, why couldn't you?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, and that confidence goes a long way in that game.
It does, because like, I don't even feel like I'm that confident. So I'm like, wow, this person is more confident than I am. So that's great. So I'm like, you should go for it. Yeah. And I think there is starting to be more, there are more OnlyFans guys out there too now. So I have a lot of like those guys, and I have girls reaching out too, like, hey, do you want to do content together? And I'm like, I'm like a solo person for now. So yeah, I don't, if anyone's wondering.
Still holding off on that.
Yeah. But it's new. I mean,
yes.
It's only been 7-8 months or something.
Yeah, not even that long. So, but I was just like, I'm more solo. I don't see myself ever doing content with anyone else. I mean, I would like take for modeling and stuff, like, because like there was a couple of photographers were asking, like, they wanted I don't know, they were like looking with me and then seeing like, I'm like a little curvy, but like by no means like large, I guess, we would say. But they were thinking that I don't know, some of the photographers first see like, oh, I could see like a little bit of like, like a black and white kind of like Cindy Crawford look, or doing like, I would have no problem modeling with other guys or girls, like in like Calvin Klein underwear or like lingerie and stuff like that. I mean, that's all kind of par for the course. Or, you have like a bunch of girls like modeling together in like, skimpy swimsuits and stuff like that. I'm fine with that. Like, that's all just part of like what you do, but I just don't know. I don't know if I would go or if you like set like pictures, like, like, oh, you're sitting next to your girlfriend on the bed with your like lingerie on and like holding hands or something. I could probably do that, but I don't know if I could do other content.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I don't know. So
the nice thing is,
obviously
there's enough people out there looking that you're good to,
right.
Absolutely. And some people are like fine with, like, most people are fine with it. And if they want something else or that's like more crazy or hardcore, there is tons of
plenty.
There are plenty. Probably,
if you can think of it, it's there.
Yeah. And there's probably less of maybe like me being a little less hardcore, there's probably way more hardcore than like less hardcore on there, because I also think people are really like on there, like the more hardcore you are or weird or crazy you are, that seems to be like the more money you'll generate.
Sure.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
well, that like there was a girl on there that was selling her farts in a jar.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Made a lot of money.
Made a lot of money.
Millions of dollars. I'm like, good for her. I don't know. I mean, then I'm like, well, could I do that if I could make millions? I'm like, I just don't know if I can see myself doing that. So, and who would buy that?
They
would you
sell everything.
I would not buy farts. No.
Would you buy that jar with that in there?
No.
All right, that's good. So I
Yep.
appreciate that.
Used
And that's actually kind of tame.
Used worn panties are one thing, but
yes, exactly, but not like toots in a jar.
No. No. But hey,
Toots in a tote.
I honestly probably really would agree with you. Like I would probably say I would say I would question you significantly less if you were going to like buy a pair of like used underwear from a model or something versus a jar of that. I really would. I'd be like, okay, that seems more normal. So, I don't know why. That's just how
You've been validated.
I've been validated.
Yes, absolutely. So
it's funny. We go back our second ever episode when we were just we were still audio only. I admitted to like 20 years ago when the internet first got started that I had done this. And that was like our second episode, and our friends and people were like, why are you telling people what are you doing? Why are you telling people this? I'm like, hey, if you want people to listen, you got, you gotta have a little shock value out there. So
right, you've got to have a little fun, like exactly.
Yeah, and I'm not embarrassed by anything. I don't care anymore.
No.
So
I'm a lot. I don't think I'm not that easily embarrassed, and I mean, I think I'm like a pretty confident individual, and I can handle myself pretty well. But this is like definitely given me a whole new like view, or like holy crap, like there's like there's a lot, but I feel like it's made me I don't want to say I really don't feel like I'm a judgmental person. I feel like everybody's got their own stuff going on, and everybody, you do you, let me do me, but like you don't have to be mean or rude or anything like that. Like just treat others how you want to be treated. Like if you want to be treated nicely, then treat other people nicely. I've kind of always grown up that way. And
absolutely.
And I probably, as I've gotten older, I've probably become a little less nice, and like a little when I was younger, I'd be a little more naive and like, okay, yeah, well, I'll give you like a second chance to be nice, or a third chance. And now I'm like, piss off or whatever. Like
I don't have time for that anymore.
Yeah, much less, as you grow up and you go through life experiences, then you become more educated, more knowledgeable of things, and then you're like, well, I'm not going to make that mistake again, or I'm not going to why would I ever put up with that from somebody? So, I feel like, I mean, not that I feel like I was always, on my, like, did my own thing, and like, regardless of what anyone thought, I was friends, and when I was growing up and I was in high school, it was a very small high school, and I didn't realize how political it was in the school, and like who you knew and everything, because I was pretty popular, but I was never in any cliques with any of like the girls. Like, I was friends with all of those girls or guys, but I was never like, there was always like this clique of like 6 or 7 girls in our school together, and I was friends with all of them, but I was never part of that clique, because that just wasn't my thing. Like, and I did, I took like, computer aided drawing. I took like, we had like surveying and wood shop, and I took all of those classes in high school. Like we had small machines shop in high school. Like you could learn to tear apart and put together a lawnmower. Like this is not so we did all this, and so I took like all of those classes too, and then so I was always like hanging out with the guys. So I mean, you have to have some broad shoulders and be pretty thick skinned to like put up with crap and stuff. So I mean, but like there was always people in like school that were, because I hung out with like everybody. So I hung out with like the goth kids. I hung out with like kind of like the art kids. I hung out with, I was in band and I was in chorus and I was in marching band.
Nice.
Yeah. Sounds like you did everything.
I did. And I played soccer, so I was definitely a jock too.
Yeah.
Like I played soccer pretty competitively too. But because and then I was also friends with like, the ones that probably did drugs and like smoked pot too. It wasn't that I didn't have time to like hang out with them and do that stuff really, but so I mean I've smoked weed a few times, whatever, but
Right.
but I was friends with all of them. And then because I wasn't willing to not hang out with them, like I did everything in school. I had like amazing grades. I was class secretary on student council, whatever it was. And I was on junior National Honor Society, but I never got onto National Honor Society because I chose to be friends with everybody and not like be in a certain group or clique.
The right
crowd.
click for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I still keep upstairs in my one guest room and like bookshelf. My higher level math teacher in high school made me my own award because I didn't get onto Honor Society. And it was called the Good Person Award. And she was an artist and drew and everything, and she made it for me and framed it for me, and I still kept it to this day.
I feel like that's a more precious award than the national.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
more
Especially
meaning.
looking back now, I'm like, no one else has that from Mrs.
Right.
Thompson.
So personal and meaningful.
Right. But so you run through that too. Like just like on Instagram, like you see all these like people that comment. Like I said, OnlyFans is pretty easygoing because like they're on there.
Well, and they're paying for the experience, so it doesn't really pay to be rude to the person you're paying.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm like, what are you doing? Like exactly. So I mean, I think everyone's pretty chill there, but like on a lot of the other social media, like especially in Instagram, like you find like a lot of stuff. Like there's still like a lot of haters. There's always going to be. It doesn't matter where you go.
Yeah,
sure.
1,000%. Yeah.
So as you're saying, you're confident back then. Do you think you'd be able to put all the pictures out when you were 20 as opposed to now?
Oh, like all the pictures that I have now? No, I would have never done that. No.
Then each picture to get a little more, I mean, a little different level of confidence.
Yeah. I think, and I still feel like, so I feel confident in so many ways, but I'm a Virgo, so I'm very analytical and I'm all right. The 19th. What about you?
August 24th.
All right. Also, I'm September 19th. So,
Yeah.
and what about you?
I'm an early Virgo.
Oh, yes, you are. You might almost be on the cusp.
Yeah, it's like the first day. I think it's the 23rd and the
Ooh, so you're kind of like the cusps are like the crazy ones. They have like a little bit of like each one in there. So
I don't even know what the one before Virgo is, so I can't.
Libra. Wait,
okay.
No, Libra is after. What is before Virgo? Oh my God, I don't know either. I'll have to look it up.
I don't know.
No,
I
used to know all that stuff. When's your birthday?
April. So I'm a Taurus.
Oh, okay, so you are a Taurus. Very nice. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think
bullheaded. My mom would always say.
Imagine that. No. No. It's a good excuse to be able to say it. So
yeah.
No, I don't think so. I'm like very analytical, very like self-critical. So I felt like I definitely think with this experience, I've become more comfortable with my body and like how I look and everything. I mean, I know I'm not ugly by any means. I know,
right.
And I know I have a pretty face and I have like nice hair and everything, but like, I did, I grew up when I was younger, I liked the whole, I mean, like with the modeling and everything, thinking you should be like 5'10" and 100 and 105 or 110 pounds. I did like all of the models in the fashion magazines, and I like kind of some of the old school modeling. Like it's nothing what it is then or what it was then. What it is now, it's completely different how you become a model. Like you might end up going through agencies eventually, but like most people start on social media and then like grow their following and do it a completely different way. I mean, I like some of the old school stuff where you're like flipping through magazines and like actually seeing them. Like you're not looking at everything like digitally. So I'm kind of sad that they don't do that. But back then, you see all of those models, and I thought they were, so many of them were like very pretty, like very beautiful. But then you're like, well, and if I'm not that height and that weight, then I can't do that. So, I was like a little like more, I still feel in some ways I'm like a little self-critical like of my body and like, like my size. Like, yeah, I'd like to be a little thinner and, yeah, I like my butt and my hamstrings need to be a little bit more toned up. Like there's cellulite there and like, but it's all like, it really is all women,
Yeah, it
So-
is. Yeah. And you look
so
terrific.
I think back then, like I was still really confident with myself, obviously, because I didn't care what anyone said, and I was never going to not be friends with who I wanted to be just because it wasn't going to get me on some club or into some group or club. Like I would be like, well, screw those people. So I was very confident that way, but I think I was probably more shy like then too. Like I don't think I would have shared pictures like that or like taking selfies in like my bikinis or anything like that. So
And now it's just second nature. You know, I mean,
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah.
it really is. And like, and then I know, and it sounds like I keep on saying this, but I feel like, like literally everyone's doing it. So, and I would look like, as I was like, even years back, I go, wow, I would see some people when we would go out and like, wow, I'm like, I'm really surprised that that person is wearing something like that. But then I would like, because I would feel like I probably or maybe could wear something like that, but I never would. And then I would start thinking, I'm like, well, good for that person being confident enough and comfortable with themselves enough to wear that. So I'm like, if that's what they, good for them. I mean, so maybe like they're, a step ahead of us in like, or me in the confidence world of like just not giving a shit. I'm going to wear whatever I want. So I mean, I feel like I don't think you should be running around like naked or in like a dong thong, in front of like little kids and stuff. But you know what I mean? Like,
right.
There would just be
In the right setting.
Anytime I hear a guy, because there used to be the common thing, like with leggings and yoga pants, like they shouldn't make those in size extra large. I'm like, dude, look at you. Like, come on.
Seriously.
Usually the ones that are making the comments that shouldn't be making the comments.
Really?
Right. And a lot of the times it will be like women making those comments to like other women that shouldn't be either too.
Sure.
So like, women are just as bad as guys. But the guys are like, really? You're gonna make that comment? I'm like, you're not a 10.
And even if you are a 10, who cares? I mean,
like,
if that's what's comfortable.
And exactly. So, but I was quick to like start thinking about that. I'm like, well, I'm like, good for him or her if they want to wear that and like they're comfortable in it, and it makes me think. So I feel like I've learned a lot now. Like, well, I should be like more comfortable in like my own skin and my own body. I mean, because I am all natural and I always like go back and forth, like being a little bit older. As we all know, as you get older, gravity sets in. So I really am trying to like work out because I feel like my butt's sagging. It's like we got to get it back up. But like I go back and forth with like, do I, would I ever have like a boob job or something just because they don't sit where they sat when you're like 19. So, and not that they're supposed to.
They're not supposed to.
But they're not supposed to. That's what I
supposed
always say. They're not supposed to. And I don't know. I don't like all the surgery and the fake look. And I'd rather have natural, sagging than plastic.
Me too.
And I mean, I'm terrified of surgeries, and then I'm like probably more terrified more now than ever, like going to the doctors and like who you can trust and like believe like what they're actually telling you, and like half of the stuff in the past that they told you to take or do is really not probably what you should be doing necessarily to get better and stay healthy. And so like I don't know if I could ever go under for like a surgery like willingly, because like you're choosing to do something. So I don't know if I could do it or not. Like, and I figure I'm like, well, there's enough angles that you can take pictures and stuff. Videos are a little harder because like videos really prove more so that you're real. But I mean, I'm sure they filter tons of stuff on video in Hollywood too. They put like lens settings and everything to make all those people look better. But like I feel like there's enough angles and enough clothing and things that you can do to like wear and support yourself and to like pick things that are more flattering for yourself if you know your body type, that you can maybe get away with not doing like a surgery like that.
Well, obviously something's working because it got you into Playboy.
Yes.
They don't take just anybody. So
No.
how did that come about?
Well, so I was on so one of the models who had found me on Instagram, and I was doing some work with her, like digital, like online agency. I saw that she was on it, and like, and Playboy is different now though
Right.
than it was, and they don't take just anybody. They really don't. But
No.
and I have like
It's an honor.
yeah, and I haven't done much with it right now, because then I'm gonna have to start putting more effort into that too, as almost as much effort as like with OnlyFans. Like if you want to get bigger and become more successful. So it's almost like they will you go through an application process and submit photos and everything, and then they do, you know, decide if they accept you or not. But when you do and become a bunny, if you want to like go, you know, be placed like higher up, or actually then, you know, have the ability or the chance to become like a centerfold or something, you have to put a lot more work and effort into it, which rightfully so. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just trying to figure out like, how do I juggle all of that and then still trying to keep somewhat of a practice, and like where I don't feel like I'm making enough financially right now where I would want to give up what I'm doing for my practice right now. And if I start making a lot more revenue in the next handful of months, which is very possible,
Right.
will be, then I could see myself practicing less and treating like less patients. But in which, if it goes to that next level, which that's kind of the goal, I wanted to see where things go in the next, like, you know, I said I was going to give it a year just to see if I thought I could handle it, possibly like it, or do it. And I'll be, you know, coming up on that soon. So I'll still continue with it. And then I said I would give it, you know, and if that was going okay, then I'd give it like a solid like 3 years to see like where I am, of like building and then seeing how it's going.
Yeah.
So, and I could see like it really starting. I mean, I feel like you know, you have to believe in yourself too, and believe that you can do it. And I know I have good ethics, and I'm a very hard worker, and I'm intelligent, and I'm willing to put in the time and the effort. So if you are, you know, I don't see why I couldn't be as successful as like many of the other models out there.
Absolutely.
And you really have to be. Content creation for you ladies is a full-time job. We've talked
It
to enough,
is.
yeah, we've talked to enough OnlyFans models that we're like, wow, the amount of content they put out is just mind-boggling.
It is, and it takes so much time. And I feel like, and for me, because I don't know, in some ways, I feel like maybe I'm a little more old. I don't want to say old-fashioned because that makes me sound old. But like I feel like I don't know, I'm not contributing to, like, I feel like my job is a, you know, in the medical field, or, you know, as a chiropractic physician in the health field like that, I feel like I'm like really contributing and like making a difference and like working hard. And then I feel like well, like if I'm making content, it's not that I don't enjoy it, like, and I'm not knocking other models and stuff, because I had no idea how hard it is until I started trying some of the stuff. I'm like, holy shit, this takes a lot of time.
Right.
But it's like a lot of time, like, oh, I've got to like scroll through and find what's trending, and I'm like, I'm on my phone or computer doing that. I'm like, this seems like I feel like such a loser, like that I'm like wasting my time like scrolling through like online stuff, like content after content, like reel after reel, like trying to figure out like what's going to be catchy or like what will work and stuff. But I mean, it really is a full-time job, and I think you just have to look at it as almost as like it's a full-time office job. You know, you're sitting at your computer, you're almost doing like, in a way, like some type of like data analysis or something, and trying to put together this whole compilation of things to then that you have to do, and then do the content for, and then like execute it and put it on your page. So like it really takes a lot of time. So I get frustrated because I'm like, I have other things to do. So, but then if this is your job, then you have to like treat it like a full-time job too. So.
And I'm guessing the content for OnlyFans is different than that you would be putting on Playboy. So you almost have to.
Yeah, I mean,
double.
Well, you know, honestly, it's not. I don't think, for what I've seen, and then I follow a couple. I don't like pay for subscriptions or anything on Playboy to other models, but there's like the one model that, you know, I'd been like, who'd got me interest, you know, got me into doing some of her social media stuff. so I follow her, and then whatever the most, I forget her name, but there's like some brown, like brunette that was like recently a centerfold. So I follow her. And it's actually to me, I feel like it's very similar to OnlyFans. I
Sure.
really do.
Sure, but I mean, you couldn't take the same content and put it
Oh,
on
yes,
both,
I
or-
see. Yes, yes, yes. You try to make it a little different if you can.
Yeah,
But I
okay.
think you could like I think you could put some of the same stuff on there, because I do feel like there's some people I mean, because like some people like were like they'll message me on Instagram like, oh, do you sell photos and things like that? And like because we can't go on OnlyFans because they see it come through as a payment and stuff. But like I don't know, like but then
And
some
mom
people,
will see it, so you can't get
yeah,
in trouble.
exactly. So I don't
Or their
know,
wife.
like, yeah, and so then maybe if you're just like looking, if it just shows that you're like, oh, a Playboy subscription is coming through once a month, like, oh, what's the big deal? Because it's just like getting the magazine, like,
Right.
Sure.
or whatever it is. So I think some guys will tend to do that more than OnlyFans, because like if they see OnlyFans, then you obviously know probably why you're on OnlyFans.
OnlyFans has gotten a little kind of a bad rap for some things, but it's not
Yeah.
all the hardcore
But
stuff.
no,
by
it's
any
not
means.
all.
No.
Not
And
at
there's
all. No.
yeah, there's all types of things on there. Like, I mean, things you wouldn't even like realize.
Yeah.
So,
There's
but
a lot of non even sexual things on
Right.
there.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh, tons. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
tons of
tons.
stuff on there. And so and it has gotten a bad rap, but like I think I mean they're doing something right. I mean, it's like literally one of the largest growing business platforms that's out there right now.
Yeah.
Or that is out there right now. And it's fairly I think the way they have it set up like for percentages, and I mean obviously you can clearly see how they make their money, but it's very I think it's very reasonable, you know,
Sure.
for what people are doing.
Okay.
Like they don't take that much of a percentage, which is great. So
It's nice. Yeah. It should go to the
yeah,
artist.
yeah, it makes a big difference. And like so I think they're good that way. But I mean, but I think it also works too, because then it's reasonable, and then you're going to get more people because they're like, oh well, they're not trying to like, you know, screw us
Yeah.
completely. You know, they're keeping a certain amount, kind of like Planet Fitness, you know, where they only charge like $10 or $20 a month.
Right.
And then everybody has memberships, but most of them don't even go. But like, but then they don't cancel their membership because like, well, it's only
It's
10
only
bucks.
10. Yeah. It's only 10.
So they're making all of this money off of people that don't even go, like thousands and thousands, however many people. And it's really like a great like business scheme too. And then it's there if they do want to go, but they're like, oh, if I don't go, it's no big deal because it's only $10 a month. Now, if you're paying $200 or $180 a month or $220 a month to like go to CrossFit or something,
Yeah.
you go to CrossFit for like that cost or whatever it is, you bet your ass you better be going.
You better
or if you're not going, then you're going to cancel that membership. Where if
Yeah.
you're just being like, oh, it's just $10 a month, it's fine. Like I'm not losing that much. So,
Right.
but if
Right.
everybody has that mentality, and then they're collecting, you know, $120 a year from every single, like millions of people, like that's
Yeah. Not bad chump change.
no, exactly. So I think like OnlyFans like keeps it a little more reasonable, and there's not really I think with Playboy it's really what you make of it, because
Okay.
there's not they accept you and then you get onto it, but there's not really as much of a percentage thing. So it is different. It's like a little bit different, like elite status, I think, because like not, I mean, OnlyFans, anyone you know can make an account. Like you don't have to send it in.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to have the you know the Playboy name behind you, because
Yeah, it is.
You know,
It is. And I was if you'd asked me when I was like 20, I've been like, oh, like Playboy, like it's so disgusting. Like why are people like looking at, like why do guys like look at that? I would get so upset. And I don't even know why I did. Like, I mean, I
Sure.
guess it was just being young or whatever. And then I had and I hadn't applied or sent an application because I didn't even realize that you could. So when I was looking at the one model that I was doing following and like kind of like taking her lead a little bit and see what she does, I'm like, well, how did she get into all of this? And then so I started doing a little research and I found out that you can apply. And then so she was on there as well. And I watched the if you guys haven't, I watched the Pamela Anderson documentary. And
Oh, I haven't.
I don't know if it's on Netflix or Apple
Yeah.
TV or
I
whatever.
think it's Netflix.
But
Yeah.
it was it was really interesting. I just like I watched it one night, and like it was very, very interesting, and it gave me like a whole new respect for her too, and like because she had a crazy life, like a very, 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 very awful life growing up.
Yeah.
And so but and then like listening to her and everything, and I don't know, it just gave me, and and she is a huge icon for like Playboy. And then
Many years.
no, I just like started like as I've gotten into all this, I kind of have like a different like feel or vibe about it. So I'm like, if people want to do that, that's great. And if you don't want to do that, that's great too. Like just, do whatever you want to do. So
Amen to that.
and then I applied, and then I didn't even think I would get accepted. And then like the next day I got like the email back saying like, you just submit this, this, and this, and we just need a few more photos. And then I was like, oh, I'm like, I might actually be one of these. So
Wow.
so now I have it there, and now I've got to start doing more with my account. So it's on my list of things to do. I've just been running out of time lately.
I definitely feel that.
Understandable, absolutely. With everything you got going on, it's for sure. But it's out there, and well, as people know, it'll grow.
Yes, it will.
For now, the best place is to look for you on Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely.
To see all your stuff. And then
right. Well, and I mean, and OnlyFans, and OnlyFans is, I'm definitely started to add a lot more content to that. So that's growing and getting a lot bigger. I'm gaining like new fans every week with OnlyFans too. So I think that's been going really well. But I think in terms of like Instagram is where, or even like TikTok, somewhere between Instagram and TikTok is where if you're trying to get more into like if I want to do the modeling part of it and find recognition from like other brands or lingerie, swimwear, clothing lines, then like Instagram is kind of and TikTok too, but like Instagram is kind of where it's all happening, like if you want to expand that way too. So
I will give a word of advice to anybody who visits your Instagram page.
Yes.
If there's a gallery of photos, make sure you scroll through to the last one on some of them, because sometimes
the best is hidden at the end.
Yes, absolutely. So you got to get through all of them. Absolutely. Yes. I agree. And my very ones from the very beginning were kind of funny. I think did you guys check, is it National Tequila Day? Did you
Actually? It was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
Oh, it was yesterday. I don't know. I'm so behind with this stuff, so damn, I'm glad I didn't do a post today for National Tequila.
We actually did a podcast. We did a podcast yesterday with Sammy Hagar's daughter.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so we have his tequila. We had it on the table last night for that, and then we were like, okay, well, we'll just drink another tequila.
Because then, especially if I said do a Paloma.
Yeah,
so
right. It worked out.
What did you have for a drink last night?
Just tequila, and she doesn't drink, so I just had tequila and Sprite.
My grandmother said never trust a person who doesn't drink.
Okay.
And she's 90.
Yeah.
So.
Good for her.
I know I could never date a person who doesn't drink. Like,
right.
I went on a date once with a girl who didn't drink, and that was a one-time deal. It was okay.
Did it feel weird? Were you just
because I had a cocktail with dinner, and she's having like coffee. I'm like,
do you feel like she was judging you?
Maybe a little.
She was.
Maybe
she was.
She was. So.
I did. Yeah.
Especially when you ordered that third one.
Third.
Yeah,
that was before.
And then when the shots started coming out,
Shotsky.
And then the bartender knew your name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
yep.
And you're like,
that really why there wasn't was that really why there wasn't a second date? The truth comes out.
I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
It was, but it was still. I do remember that.
Right. So
you
guys
didn't even drink.
like weird. So
weird.
What do you do?
Yeah.
So with that, is that tequila good? I haven't had that.
It is.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you're subject to have to say that.
Well, they are not a sponsor.
They're not sponsoring us, so we don't have to
yet. Yes.
But
exactly.
No, they are very good. It's a very good tequila.
Yeah.
Excellent. So is that what you used to make the Palomas tonight?
Yep.
You bet.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Which is I do like grapefruit juice, so I really enjoy this drink.
Absolutely. I really like it too. And it's just I think it really helps. I mean, I like tequila, but a lot of people don't love tequila. But I feel like this is a very nice drink to do, and it's not too sugary either. So
Right.
which is nice. So because like people don't realize it's not just the alcohol, it's the sugar that is what really will add to your hangover the next morning.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you can at least cut down the sugary part of the alcohol, then you might be half as likely to have as bad of a hangover the next morning. I mean, this is just coming from a doctor, so I don't know.
Well, I love the doctor's advice because for the last 5 years, I drink everything with water.
Right.
All of my booze with water.
Well, it's good.
Typically,
it makes a huge difference. So
it does.
A huge difference to do that. And then it just cuts down with the hangover the next day. It makes a huge. And then if I used, because when you're in college, like you're doing like, all these like sugary drinks or Jack and Coke and all this stuff. And so now like even if I did like even when I was younger, I like started picking up on that pretty quick. So then I would do like vodka and club soda with like a splash of cranberry juice or a splash of like grapefruit juice or something, just a little tiny bit. But if you just have the club soda, that like cuts down so much. So I would be half as hungover as all my friends the next day, and they'd be like, how do you do it? I'm like, I don't know, it's just one of my superpowers.
I'm a professional.
I'm a professional.
I'm a professional.
I wish I had known that a lot earlier in life, but that's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It is.
I found a way to cure hangovers too. I just smoke weed. It's easier.
Hey, does that really work?
I don't drink. For the most part, the only time I really drink anymore is for the podcast.
Okay.
So, I mean, I might have a cocktail with dinner, but I never.
Like, and we do like 8 podcasts a day.
We podcast every night. So, but I won't go out and tear it up on alcohol anymore. So I'll have, if at most, I'll have 2 or 3 drinks. So, and even then I wake up and go, ugh.
You're like, why did I do that?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I still just like drinking.
Yeah.
I really enjoy drinking.
I do. I love all types of, I mean, I am very good, like I said, during COVID. And even then I say it was bad, but probably not compared to anyone's standards. Like, I was just like, I was having somewhere between 1 and 3 drinks a night, but basically like every night. And and some nights it really might just be like 1 drink or like a glass of wine. But it's like, do I really need to be doing this every night? And then when I was starting to get into a little bit of the modeling stuff, and honestly, other than it kind of being a drunken dare, it was also I had been working out in different things, but I was like kind of out of training with CrossFit, and I wasn't doing like Ironmans or marathon training. So one big reason why I decided to give it a go too, I'm like, well, I need a reason like to like get myself back in shape. And and like, so I'm almost like thinking of it as training. So I'm like training for something right now.
Sure.
So
whatever motivates you, right?
Exactly. Like, and then so like it's like, well, I need to be, I want to be a better version of me, or I just want to be like more toned and like a little bit, just in a little bit better shape. And then if that will help me get back on track, like on the days that everybody has the days where you don't want to do anything, or you're just tired and you just want to come home and make dinner and then just like sit down and then go to bed. And
just the days that end in Y.
Yeah, almost every day. So, but now I'm like, if I know that I've like got some goals, or if I'm going to end up having potentially like in the next couple of months, like a couple of swimsuit like shoots coming up, then some different photo shoots coming up, then it does motivate me to try harder to like make better choices during the week.
Sure. Makes sense.
Better choices.
Makes sense. Better choices. So I feel like God.
Someday I'll do that.
No, you won't.
Yeah. But then again, like my grandmother.
It's too late for us.
My grandmother, my grandmother is 90 and she has 2 drinks every night.
Of what? I was gonna
she does. Oh God. You don't even want to know. It's so gross. It's LTD, which is Canadian whiskey.
Okay.
So Canadian whiskey and club soda but it's LTD. It's so cheap and it tastes so bad. It's so gross.
And she's probably been drinking it for 50 years, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
just been the thing. And
I take it to New York. I stock her up. I go to Total Wine and stock up every time I go.
I love it.
Well, I
and she
say
likes
cheers to your grandma,
Right?
Yes, cheers to my grandma.
and to many more years and many more drinks for her.
Absolutely.
Right?
And she does like Glenfiddich. I forget which, I don't know, it was like 18, 12, 12 or 12 and 18 year, I think. So she'll just drink that on the rocks.
So she's either bottom shelf or top shelf. Nothing
Yeah,
in
no
between.
shit. I know. So I'm like, Grammy, man, I'm like, we gotta like step you up from the LTD, just anything. I go to Total Wine and like I'm always like, we talk about people judging you. I'm like, I'm like every time I'm in
It's not for me.
this is not for me. This is for my grandmother. They're like, sure.
Well, are you sure? They're like, that's elderly abuse. What are you giving your grandma that for?
I know. So I know. Then it makes me look like I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
Because
God, buy your
here
grandma
I
some.
am, like buying my
It's what
poor
she
grandmother the
wants.
cheapest like well craft that you can possibly buy. So
Really, it's what she wants.
We all
I
like what
know,
we
and then
like.
and she loves gin and tonics, and she does like either Gordon's or Gilby's gin. Oof. Like,
I say
why?
bless her. She
I
knows what
know.
she likes.
I know she does. She's like, well, I don't want anything too strong, but I'm like, but I know there's better tasting gin that's the same proof. I promise. I promise I could find something else. So
Nice.
You know what? She's not going to change. Let her enjoy
no, not at all.
whatever
So
she enjoys.
absolutely. And
I love it.
She's a lot of fun. So
Yeah. I love hearing stories like that.
yes, she does not know that I do OnlyFans or anything though. So
Yeah. She follows the podcast.
yeah, I'm sure she probably would if she could. So this would be like more of her thing, I think. So,
Oh, I love her.
but yeah, I mean, she's 90, so she's doing something right.
Yeah.
So
Right?
1,000%.
and
right?
her sister is going to be 100.
Oh,
So,
shit.
Oh, wow.
yeah. So she's got, or actually, no, her sister just turned 100 in July 9th. That's what it was.
Wow. That's
So
they're doing something right.
I know. So maybe we should start drinking LTD. I don't know.
Maybe.
You guys
We
are
gotta-
gonna like go to Total Wine tomorrow. I know you are, and pick up a bottle.
We need to rethink this. We're save some money.
Hey, the thing about it is they're bottom shelf. Maybe they would sponsor the podcast.
Yes.
There you
they
go.
might.
Then I'll
So-
drink it.
Then we'll drink it.
And there's another one called R&R, which is like rich and rare. Have you heard of that? That's
No.
that's also a Canadian whiskey. So trust me, I've
Wow.
learned my Canadian whiskeys.
Okay.
On the
Wow.
shelf.
I have heard of, but not
It's
that.
like
What?
13, I think like $13.99 a bottle. So
It's the
for,
only-
like for 1.75. I think.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Is the only difference between Canadian and American whiskey the maple syrup? Do they put maple syrup in the Canadian whiskey? Is that what
I know. That's what I was wondering. No, you would think because it would taste a lot. That stuff tastes like shit. So I'm sure they're not putting maple syrup in that. So anything would help.
yeah.
But you could do that on your own.
We
So
could.
then you
We
could get a maple syrup sponsor and you could get the Canadian
Well-
whiskey sponsor.
We'll take any sponsor. Believe me, we're not picky.
Excellent.
We're looking LTD. All right. Well, say hello to your grandmother for us. We love her. Thanks for sharing her story. I love hearing
Oh.
stories like that. When with the elderly, they always have something quirky that they. Why do you think you live till 80 or 100? My
I know.
LTD whiskey, you know, or
pickles.
breakfast or sex.
Exactly.
I have sex. You know, I mean, I love those stories.
Me too. They're the best. So, and there's something to be said for sure. So,
For all of
Absolutely.
that. Yes, absolutely.
And thank you for sharing your story.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
So tell everybody where you want them to go to find you, and we'll send them your way.
Excellent. I mean, my Instagram is the best, like the one with the underscore. I had another one that I'm going to be deleting that was just Dr. Voluptuous without the underscore.
Mhm.
But I had some issues with, I think, I don't know if it was being shadow banned or it got hacked into or censored.
Gotcha.
So I started this one with the underscore and I built that back up. You know, I'm almost at, it was a little hard restarting.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I figured I just had to like take the plunge. I'm like, I can't stay with this account because it's just not doing anything. So within a couple of months, I mean, a handful of months, I've like, since March, that's when I opened that one. So it's Dr. Underscore Voluptuous. and said, I think I did that in March, and I'm almost to, I should be to 30,000 followers soon on that. So I built that up in like just a handful, like not too many months. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Which is great. And then my OnlyFans is like this. It's just not with the underscore and everything, but people can find me there. And I do try to answer messages. I tell people on Instagram, like I try to like respond to the messages that are underneath the posts, but like the DMs, I try to get to some of them, but people are like, oh, like let's chat. I'm like, I'm just like, I can't chat with everybody.
Right.
And everything.
Sure.
I try to. If I see doctor questions, I do get a lot of doctor questions. Well, most of them are, are you really a chiropractor?
Right.
That's what most of them are. But then I've got other ones that have like actually sent me copies of their MRIs, and I've like read through them and everything. I do try, if I see those, I do try to take a look and at least respond. So just
okay.
Like, I mean, I can't give too much, I can give some like friendly knowledge or advice, but I don't want to give too much with anything being a liability, or people. And of course, people are like, oh, can I be your patient? Or then I get like a lot of people like, I wish my chiropractor looked like you. And I'm like, well, generally I'm in like real like doctor clothes. And I have gotten some asks though for like OnlyFans, like if I could put on like a lab coat in with like the lingerie underneath. So that seems pretty simple and easy to do.
Yeah.
Well, those are the ones you should the ones that request and the ones that send you the medical stuff and the request say, send it to my OnlyFans, pay for it, then I'll answer you.
Right.
Exactly. I'll answer you, and then you can see some photos at the same time.
Exactly.
And then you
pay
can like
for my advice.
Photos, and it's the best. That could be like your payment for me reading.
Absolutely.
Your MRI.
That's right.
Maybe and you should be managing my page. So
well, I would start sending all those guys that send you the nude dick pics and say, send it to there, and then I'll give you a rating.
Absolutely. Actually, that's an I was trying to be like polite to a couple of people, but I'm just like, hey, I'll rate you over there. So let's keep it for there. It's just like try to keep passing it all over there.
So. Absolutely.
And that's the way it should be. That's the way, if you're interacting, you should be getting paid for your time. It's a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
it's a job like anything else.
Yeah.
So.
And some of the OnlyFans models that we've talked to, they say that exactly, that if you want me to message you back, you have to message me on OnlyFans. That's just, I know, we understand you get 1 million messages a day. So
absolutely. And I try to like go through and really scroll through to answer, like, because like if I get a chance to do, a podcast or potentially like work with like, there's a lot of scams out there too for photographers and everything. So I've been careful to go through all those. But, I did come across like a few of the photographers that I do work with, it happened to have come through like Instagram, like messaging and like DMing back and forth. And I've had some like wonderful experiences with that too. So
for sure.
So I try to go through all of them, but I just can't answer
not everyone. No.
Everybody and everything. Like it's impossible. And I'm still doing all on my own. Like a lot of these people that have much larger accounts, they have people doing it for them.
Right.
So but anyway. So
you need an assistant like us. We have Fernando that does a lot for us.
Fernando. You say his name wrong.
Oh, I like that name. That's a good name.
It's kind of a pool boy.
Nice. I like it. So very loincloth, like Tarzan loincloth, or
he is going to be tomorrow.
He's our very fake. Fake producer.
He's gonna have to like run across in like front of the screen, like a drive. Well, not a drive-by, but like a flash by. Or
well, if he's got a loincloth, he'll swing by.
Yeah. Right. So. Assuming you've had a good time with us, we'll definitely would like to have you back at some point. My only recommendation is next time we have to drink at least 4 margaritas. And if anybody knows your TikTok,
I know after this
they'll understand why.
Someone dared me to do that one because like in my I have a lady that helps me a little bit with Instagram, but mainly with like TikTok, and she's like, you need to do like more like full on like dance videos and stuff, and I'm like, okay. So like I love all the voiceover stuff, or like you can put on like some your bathing suits or like sexy lingerie and stuff and do funny things, but I'm like, oh no, I've got to dance. So Oh, yes. So 4 margaritas
Four
for sure.
margaritas. Yes.
So, wait, do we start like, do we have like 3 before and then drink the 4th and then the 5th one by the end? Like,
That's a good idea. Even better.
That's true because we don't know what happens with
You're
the
the-
fifth margarita.
you're-
So
I know,
You're
but
improving the.
and this sounds really awful too, but I'm a pretty good drinker, so I can handle my. I mean, I'm very good, so
Yeah.
I can handle my own. So it's probably going to take more than.
I was gonna say, I
5
believe if you grew up drinking in Boston, you know how to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean-
and upstate New York. I mean, you have no idea.
Yeah.
I had a very bad experience with LTD. That's probably why I don't like it. So I don't ever recommend doing shots of LTD.
Oh,
And then I don't recommend using white wine as a chaser. I don't
Huh.
recommend. So
And I was just gonna do that, but
oh.
yeah, I would hold off, man. Like
I
just
would hold
only
off.
LTD and like, maybe make some Manhattans or on the rocks or something, but I wouldn't chase it with white wine. It just,
Right. Write that down. We're getting that full story next time.
I know, absolutely. So, all right.
Thank you so much. We really
Thank you,
appreciate it. This
guys.
was a lot of fun.
It was.
Yeah.
I hope you have a great night.
You
So,
as too.
You as well.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right,
Good night.
bye-bye.
White wine chasers. Holy cow.
Thank you for listening. The tavern is closed for now, but we'd love to have you back for more fun next time. Seriously though, get your asses out of here.